Proportions. You probably know how to solve a proportion, which is why this is going to be an uber-duper short video because we're just going to review proportions. We're going to look at a couple of examples. In theory, you've been doing this since early middle school, and you've done the heck out of it in pre-algebra and all of those things. So we're not going to spend a lot of time here, but we're going to quickly look at proportions just in case to refresh your memory because it fits in equations. So let's look at some examples. Example 1. That's an E, an X, and an S. I don't know if any of you have been watching these videos and have been wondering, what is that scribble you keep writing there? Examples. That's what that stands for. You got this. So do I, probably. Maybe. I don't know. Are we all crazy? Is this a simulation? Probably. But let's do an example. Here we go. Example number 1. X over 10 equals 3 over 8. So a proportion is a fraction equal to another fraction. And we solve most proportions pretty much the same way. And that is, and this is really important, the only enunciation and focus that I want to put really hard right here is that when you multiply fractions, you multiply them straight across. The numerators times the numerators, the denominators times the denominators. If we have 1/2 times 3/4, you do 1 times 3 equals 3, and 2 times 4 equals 8. Keep that in your brain. When I ask you in a course and a half, how do you multiply fractions, your answer had better be straight across, because that's how we multiply fractions. Now, having said that, that's not how you solve a proportion, because in case you didn't know, in case you were a little confused, that symbol right there is not a multiplication symbol. That's an equals, right? So since that's an equals, we cross multiply. And that's how we solve a proportion. We cross multiply, and then we keep on going from there. So let's take a look at this. So x times 8 is 8x. 10 times 3 equals 30. Excuse me. Oh, because I can read. That's fine. This is not quite what I have in my notes. This is going to give us a fractional answer, but oh well, who cares? No big deal. So to get rid of the 8, it's multiplied, so we got to divide it, right? Divide both sides by 8. Those cancel, leaving us with x equals 30 over 8. Now, we need to, at the very least, if you're one of my students in a problem like this where it's just an abstract problem and it's not a word problem, we're not having to graph it, as long as it is a reduced fraction, your answer is good to go in Algebra 1. Now, you don't necessarily have to convert it to a mixed number or anything like that. As long as it is reduced, we are good to go. Now, if you're not one of my students, then or even if you're in one of my students in one of my other classes, depending, they may want something different. Your teacher may want something different in those classes. But for now, we're just going to reduce this. We're going to divide top and bottom by 2 and end up with 15/4 as the answer to this problem. The one in my notes is much cleaner and prettier and gives you a whole number answer, but that's okay. That's what happens when you copy things wrong. Let's do example 2, and then we're going to quit. This one's going to be a little more complicated, but it's not so scary. We're going to have x minus 2 all over 10 equals 3 over, and this is where I broke it last time. Wait a minute. Good grief. I'm rushing through this. I knew this video was going to be short, and I think I'm just kind of rushing crazy. How about x minus 2 over 14? Is that where I'm supposed to be looking? Yes. Equals 2 over 7. All right, so we're going to do this the same way. We're going to cross multiply. Now, we'll start with the easy one, right? 14 times 2 is 28. So we've got 28. Now this guy, we've got to do 7 times all this mess. So I'm going to write it out, and if I write out this kind of intermediate step, I think it'll be abundantly clear how we do it. So x minus 2 times 7. X minus 2 times 7. Well, what does that look like? What are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to distribute it. You could also divide it, but don't worry. Okay, so we're going to distribute that 7. You could also divide it. Don't stress about that and all those things. But if we distribute it, 7 times x is 7x. Minus 2 times 7 is 14. Equals 28. This 14 is attached through subtraction, so we're going to get rid of it by adding 14 to both sides. (7x) is all that's left on the left side. Equals 42. Is that right? 30 plus 12 is 42. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It even matches my notes this time. Yay. So then we're going to divide the 7. Those cancel, leaving us with x equals 6. That's it. That's proportions. It's that simple. No big deal. No problem. Hopefully you've been doing those for years, and this was just a super fast refresher. If you're one of my students, do your homework, see you in class, all those things. If you're not one of my students, thanks for watching. Drop a subscribe and a like, and head to emberlearninglabs.com for more of what we were doing. Thank you, and have a great day.